it's just so special for our club, mate, our club.
Lastly, after 57 years of pain, it's coming home.
Hey there, TJ here, and welcome to Yeah The Dees, where I'm going through our round 4 win over at our second home at Optus Stadium in Perth against the West Coast Eagles. 63-point winners, doubling their score. It was a very, very comfortable win and one I was very, very happy with. The Eagles are not having the best season. They haven't had a good couple of seasons, actually, but coming off their loss to Fremantle the week before, they had like 7 people injured and had plenty of people getting changed through. So they had a very fresh, young outfit playing against us. So let's go have a look at the lineups for the game. Yes, there was lots of changes for the West Coast Eagles. Only the 2 changes for us, with Cozzy Pickett and Tom McDonald coming in. Ben Brown being tested during the week. His sore back not come up to scratch, unfortunately. So he did not come over for the flight. He might miss a couple of weeks. We'll have to wait and see for that one. Jake Melksham came out of the sub role for this one, which was taken by James Jordan, who was very, very stiff to get pushed out of the side for Cozzy Pickett, but someone had to come out for Cozzy. Now, our lineup is looking really, really, really nice. Like, it's really only missing Max Gawn, Christian Salem, but it looks like our list is even better than 2021. And I think it's because we have evolved very, very nicely since 2021. If you have a look at this side that's playing at the moment, we've retained around 80% of it, whom the core of that group is now 25 games plus more experienced. They have a bit more team chemistry. They've been playing together a lot better. So they've just got that experience under their belts. Yeah, we had a bit of an aberration last year in the finals, but what we can see right here is that we've topped up with 2 All-Australian, 2 best and fairest winning standard players in Hunter and Grundy. And then we've also elevated 3 VFL premiership players into our 22 with Judd McVeigh, Cade Chandler and JVR. So we've basically made an improvement on almost every line here of the field. We've got Judd in the back line. We've got Hunter on the wing. We've got Cade Chandler on the pocket. We've got Jacob Van Rooyen. We've got Grundy in the ruck. And they're all changes from the 2021 team that have come in. So it's like almost every line's got a representation of someone new or someone who is bringing a different skill set or more experience to the role that they're playing. So it's just it's an absolute joy to watch this group, and it was a decent lineup. The West Coast were missing a lot, but because they were missing a lot and had a lot of young players in, that made them kind of a little bit unpredictable. But we'll get into the way they played now as we'll get into the game. So we kicked off the game pretty well, getting a goal in the first 76 seconds through Bailey Fritsch. He took a very nice mark inside our forward 50, and our forward 50 seemed to be moving pretty well for this game, creating a bit of space. We didn't see too many packs forming, which tends to happen when we have Ben Brown in the side and Tom McDonald at the same time, where they kind of jump over each other a little bit and form packs. We're able to see some spreading and some space with Bailey Fritsch, Tom McDonald and JVR all working together, which was really nice. Unfortunately, Ed Langdon couldn't convert an opportunity fairly close to goal in the pocket. Sort of shortly after that, what I noticed from the Eagles was they were very much wanting to congest and get lots of numbers around the contest to not allow us to get out and get free very easily. They know that we like to play a quick handball moving game, and they just crowded that space to make it very difficult for us to open up. We had to switch quite a bit this game to sort of open up the ground and get us moving a bit more. Tom McDonald had a very great first quarter here, took some really great marks. He was getting his hands right up to the highest point of where the ball was coming through and taking it there quite easily. So it was good to see him get on the board. The Eagles got a little bit reward for effort, able to convert 2 opportunities into goals. Tom McDonald got a really nice second goal here. That was the one where he bumped Elliot Yeo off the line of the ball and took a really, really easy mark there. Charlie Spargo was able to kick a goal after Harrison Petty, who was the target for the mark, just ran under the ball a little bit and jumped. and dropped it, but Charlie was able to clean up and put that one through, and then Bailey Fritsch was able to goal towards the end of that quarter. So we did really well in the clearances that quarter, and we were able to put a decent score on. Kicking 5 goals in a quarter is always good. We kicked 5-1-31 to West Coast 2-2-14 to take the lead in that first quarter by 17 points. We kicked 3-1 from clearances, where the Eagles got all of their scores pretty much from turnover against us. But yeah, Bailey Fritsch and Tom McDonald both getting 2 goals each in that first quarter put us in a really, really nice lead, and we basically hold this and improve on it for the rest of the game. A lot of people would have been expecting us to just kind of smash this side and kick away, but it really came down to their effort. This game was just tackle mania. It was an absolute tackle fest for both teams. It was a really congested game. Lots of ball ups, lots of handball tackle, ball up, move the ball, tap on, handball tackle, handball tackle, just constantly throughout this game. But we were able to slowly sort of move away. It was really sort of, I guess, a slow second quarter because we only kicked the 3 goals in this one. This section, West Coast's effort was really, really good. Tim Kelly was definitely keeping them in it. It seemed like no one wanted to play on Jaden Hunt. Maybe they thought that he still played for us because they just left him alone for most of the quarter. And he was, making... It was definitely like their second or third best player on the ground. Between Tim Kelly, Jaden Hunt, and Ruben Ginby, I thought those 3 players put in a really, really great effort. And they were just applying lots of tackling throughout the middle of the ground, and especially in their forward 50, which was helping to keep the ball inside their forward 50 for a lot of that quarter. Fortunately for us, they were only able to get the 2 goals on the board. For that second quarter, we kicked 3-3-21 to 2-2-14. In this first half, I found Clayton Oliver, Jack Viney, and Christian Petrarca all had a bit of trouble trying to sort of really get going in this game. It really seemed to be a bit easier for Langdon and Hunter to sort of get our ball moving a bit. And then also Tom Sparrow and Trent Rivers were actually really good as well when they got their opportunities to run through the middle. That's a great stat here. Alex Neal-Bullen's pressure has been elite in the first half. He applied 25 pressure acts, which was more than double the best Demon, and he had 8 tackles at half time, which is a phenomenal amount. A lot of people would not get 8 for a game, and some people won't even get 8 over 2 games. So Alex Neal-Bullen putting on some great pressure there. I think Spargo was doing awesome as well. Rivers, Viney was tackling hard also. He had that spear tackle where he picked the bloke up and kind of dumped him in a nice way because he didn't give away a free kick. Christian Petrarca finally gets going in this third quarter and gets reward for his efforts. Jack Viney able to score as well soon after. Yeah, he really started to kick away about halfway through this quarter, and that's when it really started to break. And that's tends to be what happens when you're playing sort of younger teams or teams that aren't going that well. We saw it happen in the Easter Monday game with Geelong and Hawthorn. Hawthorn kicked the first 3 goals of that game and they were up, and it took a while for Geelong to really get on top. But once you get to, sort of 8 to 12 minutes into your third quarters, that's where it can be really the time for teams to start to kick away. And that's what happened in the Hawthorn-Geelong game. It was very, very similar to what happened here. And that's where we saw us kick a few goals in succession. Tom McDowell gets his 3rd and 4th. Cade Chandler with an absolute perler from the pocket. That was probably the goal of the day, I think. And Jacob Van Rooyen got on the scoreboard as well. Oscar Allen kicking a goal just as the siren goes towards the end. And I thought they celebrated that one a little bit too hard, considering that they were 49 points down at the time, even after kicking that goal. So yeah, that was a brilliant third quarter from us. Yeah, we really just got our connection going. Oliver, Petrarca, Viney really getting the best of it that quarter. So we kicked 6-5-41 to 2-4-16. We won the quarter by 25 and lead the game by 49 points. We've steadily increased our lead as the game goes. And then we get into the fourth quarter, which started off a bit slow scoring-wise. Christian Petrarca was able to kick his second, and it was nice for Jaden Hunt to kick one against us. I've always liked Jaden Hunt. I've got a lot of love for him. You can see he got pushed out of our side because we had Hunter coming in and James Jordan coming through, Judd McVeigh taking a spot in the back line. He really just got pushed out of our rotation, unfortunately, and he had a great game for the Eagles, so good on him. I wish him the best. Jacob Van Rooyen getting back on the board as well, the second goal, and then Cozzy Pickett finally getting a goal for all of his efforts in the day. He kicked 5 behinds for the day, and he just absolutely could have had a monster. Christian Petrarca with his third goal as well was really dominating towards the end of the game, and the Eagles get 2 consolation goals before Cozzy gets his second to sort of round out the day. But yeah, it was just a sort of standard performance, I guess. Nothing really too shining out. I thought Grundy had a really great game in the ruck. He's just, and everyone's just trying to get that gel together and get that chemistry going. So for that last quarter, we kicked 5-3-33 to West Coast's 3-1-19. That was the most accurate they were for the whole game, was in that last quarter. We won the quarter by 14 points and win the game by 63. So the Eagles ended up 9-9-63 to our 19-12, 126. It was definitely the least accurate we've been, mainly with Cozzy kicking 2-5. We've been a lot better in front of goal in the previous rounds, but I don't think that's really too much to worry about. A lot of them came from like snaps on the run and just sort of throwing it on his boot and not really trying too hard, I think. This game was probably the last time I think Harrison Petty should play up forward. I felt like we probably gave West Coast a few opportunities, not having that extra tall down back to allow a Jake Lever to sort of float through and take those marks, or a Trent Rivers to do that, even though Trent was playing a bit more in the midfield this game. I understand that Harrison Petty is doing some ruck relieving in this game. I saw JVR take the ruck role in the first and the fourth quarter, with Tom McDonald taking the role in the second and Harrison Petty taking the role in the third, whilst Grundy was sitting on the bench. So they are sharing that pinch hitting ruck role between the 3 forwards there, and that will possibly continue, but I really feel like we're missing him down back. Eagles probably kick an extra 2 or 3 goals this game without him being down there. He just didn't really make an impact at all in this game, and he didn't make too much of an impact other than taking away a decent defender against Sydney. So we'll see how we go. Maybe he's stuck there until Max Gawn comes back. But yeah, I'd really like Petty back down back. And I think he should only be used in small little doses in that forward line, just to mess around with like the backline format that the opposition's throwing us. So we had a bit more of the ball than the Eagles. Mainly because we were switched it a lot more than them. So that's why we had a bit more domination in kicks and handballs, just being the better side as well. 20 more inside 50s, a little bit more efficient in disposal, about the equal efficiency inside 50. Had a few more free kicks. It was 9-9 at halftime, so a lot more free kicks got paid after halftime. Hit-outs, we pretty much won most of the hit-out count. Hit-outs to advantage were a bit lower. There was a lot of congestion in that centre, as I mentioned previously. So clearances were fairly close throughout the game just because of that congestion, but we were one contested possession by 19 across the field and had quite a few more uncontested possessions. So you can see that we really controlled the ball, having 10 more % worth of possession, especially towards the last sort of parts of those quarters. Eagles were always having a decent crack at the start of the quarters, but once they sort of tired out a bit more, that's when we really kicked away and got most of our scores in the last 10 minutes of each of those quarters, with the biggest lead being 68 points at 23-minute mark and then slowly being cut back. But yeah, huge tackle games, 68 and 79 is massive. And then we see tackles inside 50. These are both very large margins for both teams, just showing how congested it was getting in those forward lines. On to some stats now, and I really want to just have a quick chat about Trent Rivers because he's played one of his best games. He's had 27 disposals here, 15 kicks, 12 handballs, 445 metres gained, and he's really, really turning into a fine player. He's coming into his 4th season now. He's had quite a few pre-seasons under his belt to really get his match fitness up, and now he's being thrown in through the middle a little bit. And I had this chat with someone on a forum where they brought up that he's going to be one of the better, more decorated Melbourne players that we'll see. And I mentioned that I think he might actually be top 3 players out of that 2019 draft. I think by the end of his career, we might even look at him at one of the top players from that draft. Now, if we have a quick look at this draft, obviously Matt Rowell and Noah Anderson have got the potential to be absolute cracking players, but they're not at that level yet. Caleb Sarong, who won the Rising Star that year, is probably leading the best from this draft class at the moment. Cozzy Pickett obviously doing some great stuff, but really needs to build that consistency. Same with Liam Henry. Mitch Georgiou just hasn't gotten there as a forward yet, either as really Cody Waitman. Sam De Koning's doing well at Geelong, but still building. Harrison Jones isn't really getting enough at Essendon to sort of push through for that. So if you really have a look through these 60 or so players, Trent Rivers is really shining out of all of them for people that are making an absolute impact. So yeah, anyway, let me know who you think is doing better than him. I reckon it's probably Caleb Sarong, Cozzy, and then Trent Rivers at the moment. Like, we all know Luke Jackson hasn't been showing that consistency to be considered the best in the draft. He might be by the end of his career if he reaches his potential, but we'll have to wait and see. Let me know. Clayton Oliver with another 34 disposals, lots of kicks, lots of handballs. And it's like the ones that he gets that really cut through are just so special. Like he gets these keyhole hand passes whilst he's being crowded by people that you just never see anybody else get out. Stephen May with another 559 metres gained. Some of that is helped from him taking kick-ins, 19 disposals for the game, 15 kicks. Christian Petrarca, 431. Clayton Oliver with 5 centre clearances. I think Tom Sparrow had a really, really great game as well. Like, these young kids are doing really, really well. Competition for spots here is very, very difficult. Judd McVeigh, Jake Lever with 8 intercept possessions. Trent Rivers has got the 7 here. Cozzy Pickett involved with 11 score involvements, 5 of them being points and 2 of them being goals. So that counts for 7 of his involvements. Clayton Oliver got 10, Jack Viney with 9. So they were very much, even though it took them a while to sort of get going, they were very much involved in helping us get our scores. 18 contested possessions from Clayton Oliver, 15 from Jack Viney, 13 from Brodie Grundy. Just some great work from them. So let's get stuck into the votes. Here's the coaches' votes, and the coaches saw it as giving Tom McDonald 2, Tim Kelly 5, Brodie Grundy 6, Clayton Oliver 8, and Christian Petrarca the 9, which, if you split it up over the coaches, looks like this with the 5-4-3-2-1. On to my votes now, and I gave 1 to Trent Rivers, who statistically played one of the best games of his career so far. I really felt his impact in the centre was fantastic, so I gave him the 1. Gave 2 votes to Clayton Oliver, who I felt like, whilst had lots and lots of disposals, took a while to get going. So I just had a few players ahead of him that helped break the game apart earlier. Gave Christian Petrarca the 3 votes. I put him ahead of Clayton Oliver because he got 3 goals for the game and got on the board a bit later on. Gave 4 votes to Bailey Fritsch, who helped put the game out of reach of West Coast very, very early with 3 goals in the first half, 2 in the first quarter. And that was pretty much the same for T-Mac, who I gave 5 votes for, who helped put the game out of reach very, very early on. And then I gave the 6 votes in the best on ground for Brodie Grundy, who was doing some amazing things throughout the ruck, really giving some awesome direct to advantage hit-outs, which we capitalised on and helped score from. So he gets the 6 votes and gets the best on ground there, which means our leaderboard after 4 rounds now looks like this. Onto the VFL, and it was another solid win from the KC Demons today. Kind of a little bit similar to the game against Sydney the week before, except that in this first quarter, I'll just scroll up so you can see it, we only kicked the 1-1 to the 3-1 in that quarter because Frankston were kicking the wind and just managed to get a bit more of that advantage. And then once we had the wind in the second quarter, we really kicked away, kicking 6 goals, 6 to just the 2 points to really take a commanding lead from half time, and then just added to it in the third. Frankston came back with 3 quick goals at the start of the fourth quarter, but we were able to just put another 6 on in that last and extend the lead to 60 points for the game. So there's a few things just to note here. We really missed Tomlinson playing in this game, not having him at halfback. and taking marks and really pushing it hurt. It felt like it took Casey a while to really get that run back off half back. But there was a few really, really good players that shone through here. Jefferson and Shaki played some really good games, and by the end, Shaki was really getting really, really comfortable playing in that ruck role. He really helped replace like a Tom McDonald or a JVR type that was missing from here. Blake Howes, Monez Wakefield, and Bailey Laurie just really owned this game. Luke Dunstan as well. They were awesome throughout the middle and just did everything they needed to do to provide the forwards with enough options. So they did some great things moving forward. In terms of team selection for next week, look, Blake is pushing for it. Bailey Laurie's pushing for it. Shaki's pushing for it. There was no Ben Brown this week because of his sore back, and Hibberd got subbed out of our game. So I think the only change might be Hibberd coming out. James Jordan's probably going to come back into the side. I don't think any of these VFL players will break through, but Blake Howes is going to be close to getting a debut this year. I think he's coming along very, very nicely. Bailey Laurie's doing some nice things as well. So at the moment, we're sitting third on the ladder with 3 wins and 1 loss, playing Essendon, who sit in 4th. For the gather round this week, it's been an interesting season so far. I think the draw has helped quite a few clubs. Quite a few clubs end up sort of up on the ladder or get a bit of confidence early in this season. So good for them. Looking forward to, the Essendon game. Wish it was being played in Melbourne because 80,000 people would probably rock up to that one and it would be a lot of fun to smash Essendon in front of their supporters, but just going to have to deal with watching it on TV. So, that's been my thoughts on the game this week. So, thank you very much for watching Yeah The Dees. Leave your thoughts in the comments below, and I will see you next week.
And it's just so special for our club, mate, our club.
Lastly, after 57 years of pain, it's coming home.